Are you a Clay County resident who is ready to be part of creating a brighter future for our citizens? Doug Cobb is running for county commissioner and will bring fresh perspective to the table. A local farm and business owner, he has skin in the game of our county's success. He knows that a great team can accomplish so much more than any one of us alone and is ready to create a brighter future for Clay County together. The committee to elect Doug Cobb approves this ad. Paid for by Linda Cheatham.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434 and mention Rob for a free attic inspection. Hey guys, it's Rob Kendall. Thanks so much for checking out the Rob Kendall Show. And remember, please like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends about us. If you own a business or you're in charge of making decisions for your business, we'd love to get to know you. We'd love to learn more about what you do and how here at the Rob Kendall Show, we can help you get your word out to a very loyal group of people. Because, that's what we have with viewers on the Rob Kendall Show, a really loyal group of people. Send us an email, sales@robkendallshow.com, sales@robkendallshow.com. And I look forward to getting back in touch with you to learn more about your business and how the Rob Kendall Show can help you grow. Welcome back, Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the website, robkendallshow.com. Joined in studio, great writer here in Central Indiana, columnist, Indy star, Jacob Stewart. Back and better than ever from paternity leave.
Yes.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, and the baby's doing well.
Excellent. Great. Okay, so you had an article, a comeback article. We don't call it a comeback, but you had a comeback article, your article back that came out this week. We did a segment on it. I thought it was fascinating about the state of Indiana banning places like Fishers and Carmel from capping rental properties. I went back and forth on this issue for a while. I think I'm 100% with you now. It is awful that the state is telling these communities what they can do in their own backyards.
Exactly. Carmel and Fishers, as you probably know, are consistently ranked some of the best cities to live in the country. So just that alone, I feel like you should give them some leeway. But, they put these rental caps in a year or two ago. And by and large, the impetus for that, at least in Fishers, was primarily these out-of-state corporations coming in, buying up all the single-family homes. And then in Carmel, I feel like it was more of a general housing affordability thing. A lot of the homes in Carmel, of course, are very, very expensive to buy. And there's been an influx of renters recently, or landlords recently, buying up the single family homes and taking away that sort of missing middle housing.
So you had some data in the article that was fascinating. But first, it's not so much to me, I'm not even sure if I'm for the capping rentals or not. It's just the state, other than the lawmakers who represent those areas, have no idea what's going on in those areas. And the idea that the state is telling local officials what they can or can't do, I'm not even sure if I'm for the cap or not. I just know that the state shouldn't be telling these local communities how to make these sorts of decisions.
Exactly. And it's 100% pushed by lobbyists. I know the Realtor Association was very much for this cap. Otherwise, there's zero reason why the state should be getting involved at all. But they have these groups that, make money off the rentals and they want to get their will done. They know that the local community is not going to be for them. So they go to the state where they're a little bit further removed from the consequences of the actions.
Yeah.
They can hide this, ban on rental caps in a 411 or so page bill.
It's always one that has nothing to do with the bill itself.
Exactly. It's it's typical. Not
so
surprised.
people can read the column, indystar.com. You had some data in there that was fascinating to me about how much more a rental home goes for compared to an apartment or condo.
Yeah, exactly. So in Carmel, the average single family home goes for about $2,700 a month, according to Zillow data.
That's a large amount of money.
Oh yeah, completely unaffordable. I know I couldn't afford that.
I mean, like I'm thinking about like my house. It is well over double what I mean, like way like it's basically 3 times what my mortgage is.
Yeah, mine too. It's crazy. And then the apartments are about $800 a month cheaper on average, so $1,900 a month. So I mean, both are kind of unaffordable, but a lot of people pushing the rentals have been saying, oh, well, they're an opportunity for, people who might not be able to afford a single family home to be able to live in Carmel, but they're unaffordable anyways. And you just don't get any equity from it either if you buy or you start renting a home as opposed to buying one. So it just doesn't make any sense.
Jacob Stewart from Indy Star is our guest. New column out. You can read it about the state's ban on rental caps in Carmel, Fishers. Other communities were looking at getting involved in this. I know where I live, Brownsburg, was said, well, we're going to wait and see what legally happens because of this. Okay, so is there like not an acknowledgement that these megacorps are just simply buying up communities and they're driving the prices up? Are these lawmakers, like, how can they not see this, or do they just not care?
It seems like they probably don't care. I mean, even at a national level, you've seen the Trump administration and the Republican Party, focus on these large institutional investors, and they got something done. They banned large institutional investors, so those with more than 350 single-family homes, from buying any more single-family homes. And that's something. It probably won't help a ton. But the fact that the legislature is going against even just doing that little is crazy to me.
Because it came out a couple of years ago, forget where the article is, but there's like a lot of uber rich people who were avoiding inheritance taxes legally, right? I'm not saying anybody's doing anything untoward. They were setting up these corporations that buy these real estate, instead of like just leaving all the money to their kids, they were setting up these corporations that were buying this property. And so then the kids were getting a much better, from a tax perspective, much better deals to getting the profit from these companies rather than just having the money lived. I mean, we're talking, people worth hundreds and hundreds of millions or billions of dollars.
Right. Yeah. And there's just no way for the middle class family to compete with that. Or, when you have these out of state corporations with maybe thousands of investors pooling millions upon millions of dollars, there's just zero way for middle class families to compete with that.
Another column out, Jacob Stewart from Indy Star, our guest, or you can read it at indystar.com. You had an interesting column about how much it is costing Indianapolis public schools to teach people who can't speak English.
Yeah, they're paying about a little over $10 million every year for their English language learner programs.
So these are kids who come into the school system and they cannot speak English, so they've got to essentially teach them English.
Yeah, and it's kids from, that speak Spanish, Arabic, Swahili. So it's not just one group, it's several different groups requiring more than 100 bilingual teachers. So it's a very big staffing concern, a very big cost.
Does it make me a bad person? Because $10 million is a lot of money, because they just had a massive budget cut there with IPS, didn't they?
Right, $7 million they're cutting next year.
And so you are paying $10 million for people who essentially have not assimilated. And look, I get that kids can't be held accountable for their parents, but I'm sorry, if I'm going to let you in this country legally, you should have to be able to take care of yourself. And you just are essentially an immediate ward of the state if your kid can't speak English.
Exactly. And I don't think that they're doing a very good job teaching those kids anyways, because we're seeing hundreds of students unenrolling that are English language learners. And, I used to be a substitute teacher for IPS. There are plenty of kids there that I literally could not communicate with at all and teach them anything. So it's not very helpful, and it's especially not helpful when they're required to have these classes by the federal government.
That's the big one, right?
Yes.
IPS is required to do this.
Yes, they would get sued if they did not. And the federal government has not lifted a finger to help. In 2015, I think, they were paying about $0.7 million to help. The state was paying about the same. They're actually paying less now. It still is about $0.7 million. And the state has taken up several more $1 million to provide for IPS.
And correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of these kids are children of either these refugees who we've taken in, or these workers, these foreign workers who are on temporary worker status. Like, these are not like illegal immigrant kids. A lot of them, they're like people who the country has said, come on in, and they stick the local school district with this giant tab.
Right. I mean, I'm sure there's both, but regardless, the school system is required to give them a free public education, even if they're an undocumented immigrant, because of the Supreme Court ruling Plyer versus Doe, which was several decades ago, the 80s, I think. And on top of that, we have several federal laws. I think it was the Equal Access to Education Act or something like that, that requires schools to go above and beyond just giving them a free education. They have to teach them English as well. Even if there's some small rural school district that doesn't have the money to pay their own teachers, or IPS that also doesn't have the money to pay their own teachers.
Couple of minutes left with Jacob Stewart from Indy Star. Read all of his columns, indystar.com. All right, you took a huge career risk. You invited me to do a guest column. The Star was not burned to the ground by anyone. Everybody's still fully
alive.
How did I do? So if you got indystar.com, we promoted it yesterday. I did a column on the Mid-States Corridor, the history of that multi-billion-dollar plan, how unpopular it is in Southwest Indiana, how Braun's family seems to be big financial winners in all of it. Writing is hard. Jason and I got in this discussion the other day about broadcasting's pretty easy because it's just like a wide canvas. You can throw out a bunch of words and you say a bunch of stuff and go as long as you want. Writing, you got to fit it in whatever word box that is set. It's been a long time since I've written anything, from a professional standpoint. How did I do?
Well, your radio experience translated really well because I didn't have to do much editing at all.
Excellent. Like when you have people do guest columns a lot of times, do you have to go in and then doctor it up for them?
You were one of the better ones.
That's excellent. And so you said I did well enough that maybe I might be able to get invited back.
I'd love to.
Perfect. What a career risk. What a brave guy you are. Hey, before we let you go, you were obviously off for the General Assembly session. Anything surprise you? Anything stand out where you're like, I can't believe they did that? Yeah. What would it be?
Well, of course, there's the rental caps for one. A lot of the other things were kind of predictable, maybe providing a little bit more of an incentive for local communities to bring data centers in, which I can't necessarily complain about what they did because it does technically bring more money to local communities, but I'm sure people were not going to like it at all. Other than that, one other one, forcing a casino on Fort Wayne.
Yeah, you were passionate about that and you weren't writing at the time. Yeah. Basically, what your case was, hey, it targets the casinos, and you can correct me if I'm wording this wrong, casinos sort of target the less financially affluent people, right, and you're going to take money from them, or they're going to take money from them that they probably need to be buying necessities with.
Right, exactly. That's what it's going to do. And what the state did was they required, I think, 4 different counties in Northeast Indiana, so Fort Wayne and the surrounding area, to have a referendum to essentially allow a casino into their community. I think only one of them gets to the casino.
Right.
But it basically, it guarantees that one of those counties are probably going to pass that referendum, and that casino is probably going to go in Northeast Indiana, regardless of whether or not the residents at large really care that much about it.
And the state gets a crap ton of money.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about. Yeah. IndyStar.com. That's where you can find him. Jacob Stewart. Awesome to have you back. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for letting me write the columns, man. I've really enjoyed doing it.
Yeah, thanks.
You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance, so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Are you a Clay County resident who is ready to be part of creating a brighter future for our citizens? Doug Cobb is running for county commissioner and will bring fresh perspective to the table. A local farm and business owner, he has skin in the game of our county's success. He knows that a great team can accomplish so much more than any one of us alone and is ready to create a brighter future for Clay County together. The committee to elect Doug Cobb approves this ad. Paid for by Linda Cheatham.